Hi, welcome to Show and Sell. My name is Scott. On today's program, we're going to be talking about the 8 most common complaints that you have about the United States Postal Service. Let's get into it. Post office is just lazy. I've seen it. I've seen the pictures and I've seen the videos. I've seen it with my own eyes. They don't want to work. I decided to shoot this video after Rockstar Flipper posted this photo on his YouTube channel and expressed the question, does this photo mean that the post office is lazy? It sure looks like it. The photo is just that. It's a photo. It did not provide any context. If I show you a picture of a postal van on the side of the road, the carrier is outside the vehicle a few feet away smoking a cigarette, what's the story? You might post on Facebook, I saw this carrier in my cul-de-sac and he is in the middle of the day. I want my packages and he's out there smoking. We don't know. Is his van full? Is his van empty? Is he waiting on someone to bring him more packages? Is he waiting for a wrecker? His van broke down. Is it his lunch break? Just kidding. Most carriers don't get a lunch break, or rather they do get a lunch break. They are more than encouraged to document their lunch hour or lunch 20 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever it is, to document it. But in point of fact, most carriers work through their lunch hour. Ask yourself, when was the last time in the middle of the day during the holiday season have you seen a carrier eating lunch? Forget a restaurant, just eating a sandwich in the van. It doesn't really happen. Most of them have to work through the hour. In fact, they have little time. They are on the scanner, the scans that we all love, picked up, delivered, and all the points in between. They are also the many metrics that are taken across multiple companies, as I said. It's not just the scanning of the package. It is, where is the driver at any time during the day? How many scans is the driver doing per hour? How long does it take him to deliver mail at each box? How long is he stopping at each location? And it's all averages of, we determine that you should spend 20 seconds, 30 seconds, a minute and a half, 90 seconds. Every company is different, but they do, in fact, measure everything about the driver. And if he stops on the side of the road for 20 minutes, out of the ordinary, probably going to get read somewhere, and it might entail a meeting when they get back to the warehouse or post office or what have you. The picture doesn't tell me much. That the San Antonio post office, were those packages destined for San Antonio? Probably not. In all likelihood, they're going to all points in between across the nation and beyond. And well, that's just one bottleneck. And the packages there are going to they brought in help. The person was probably asking for help. We need help to get these packages out. Except for they just called in the people that were already working. They had them stay later, come in earlier. It's your day off, come in. We've got to get these packages out because something made it to social media, because we are viewed as lazy. Post office employees are just rude. I went up to the post office, no please, no thank you. I looked at her and said, it's Christmas, smile. Are they impolite? Probably. Are all postal carriers rude at some point or impolite at some point during the holiday season? I'll give you that, probably. I don't have any statistics to back it up, but I can definitely see where we're dealing with the public long enough, day in, day out. Ask any waiter, waitress, bartender, public servant, police officer. When you deal with the public en masse, you will hit a few bad apples and hit enough of them, and it can ruin your day. And you don't necessarily want to be the person that comes after the bad apple. Everybody has a bad day sometimes. Quick story. an old man goes into a post office. He's singing a happy tune. It's Christmas time. And gets up to the counter. What's wrong? Turn that frown upside down. It's Christmas time. Can I help you? I'll have one stamp, please. May have been a stamp, may have been a book of stamps. It's unimportant. What's important was, what? How much? I can't afford that. Are you trying to, I can't afford these. Are you going to, I'm going to starve because of you. That is not far from the actual exchange that took place. What I can tell you with no uncertainty is that particular clerk, I can tell you two things. One, it didn't improve her mood. And secondly, she did not set the postal rates. Are some carriers, clerks, drivers rude? Probably. Probably all of them at some point are. We're only human. They're only human. Everybody has a bad day. One thing I can tell you, and not just with women, don't tell somebody to smile. You're not going to get the best side of them after that. I'll tell you one thing, they drive like maniacs. I've seen it. I'm just trying to get home. Two words. Scanners and cameras, cameras, dash cams, what have you. Yes, they're pointing out, looking at traffic, monitoring the road. Was an accident the driver's fault? Just as often, they're pointed in to make sure that the driver's not stealing, or they're actively monitoring how fast the driver is going. Get enough, draw enough attention to yourself. Have enough meetings where we're getting readings that you're speeding, or you're not in the right lane, or you're going the wrong way, whatever. You're not going to be employed for very long. Scanners, also separate from the cameras. If you have 2 points, 2 fixed points, and you're measuring how long it takes to get from here to here, and you know the distance, you're going to get an approximate speed, even if the vehicle or the scanner is not actively measuring speed. The fact is all of those things that they are measuring can be used against, well, from the public's perspective, it would be to keep the driver performing in a safe manner. But from the driver's perspective, oftentimes those metrics that are taken can be used against them. You only have to look so far as that if an accident does occur, when an accident occurs, the driver of the vehicle, even if they are found not at fault, across most companies, they are treated as if it were their fault, and they're followed for 6 months or a year or 2 years to make sure that they don't have any more accidents, that they're not involved in any more accidents. Again, it doesn't have to be their fault, but they are treated as such. Do they drive like maniacs? I think it has a lot more to do with people think that we look at others and judge their behavior based on our own. And when you put someone in a uniform, and when you put someone in a vehicle that has a placard on the side that says DHL or FedEx, we lump all of those people together. And it's easy to say, oh, I saw that FedEx truck speeding, when in fact, maybe he doesn't drive any differently than everyone else on the road, but we hold them to a higher standard. Well, the companies will hold them to a higher standard, a far higher standard. And in point of fact, get enough dings on your record, have enough accidents that are your fault, be involved in enough accidents that aren't your fault, and you're not going to be employed for very long. The last thing I'll say about it is driving like maniacs. You do, as a driver, always have to be aware of other vehicles. And, well, when you have 2 vehicles involved in an accident, and one of them has signs all over the vehicle that say things like makes frequent stops, and they have flashing lights, well, I tend to slow down and pull over when I see a flashing light in my rear view. I don't know about you. I'll tell you one thing, they steal. I got a Christmas card, it was open, and that package I got yesterday didn't have everything in it. I did an entire video about theft at the post office, about stealing. A popular YouTuber, ADHD Dave, had an item go missing in a package, and I did a video about it and how unlikely it was that that the first thing that popped to mind that it was theft, that it was probably lost. If you're interested, check out the video. What I can tell you as far as theft, I don't know what it is. It's something in our nature, in human nature, that people assume that the last person that touched it did it, and that is not. It's not always the case, but for some reason, and I've heard it so many times with the post office, that it was that guy or that woman or that driver who stole my widget. Is there theft at the post office? Of course, just like any industry. But the notion that that I know that my carrier stole my whatever, just because they were the last person that was supposed to have it before me, that is a step removed from the logic that we had as kids of not it, or you touched it, or hot potato, or any version thereof. Check out the video. Have you tried to mail or ship anything recently? It's too expensive, and I know why. We're paying for holiday overtime, weekends, sweet government pensions. I wish I had one. It's expensive. Well, it's the most expensive carrier or mail service that there is, except for all of the others. The fact is, your carrier doesn't set the rates, but they have those sweet government jobs, and we're paying for that. A carrier, typically a carrier is a substitute anywhere from 5 to 15 years before they ever even begin working toward that sweet, sweet pension. It's just a misnomer. I don't know what public relations firm they hire to beat that into the public's consciousness that every carrier is getting that sweet holiday overtime. And the fact is most subs that are out on the road are working for years before they ever begin accruing anything towards retirement. And in addition to that, for that time that they are on, that they are a sub or on call, they're providing their own vehicle. They're not getting the benefits that the regular carriers are, like paid vacation. They are essentially on call 6 days a week. A couple of years ago, several years ago, they just said, "Oh, we're doing Amazon now, and now you're working Sundays." It wasn't as if they offered Sundays to the carriers and said, "If you don't feel like working," no, it was just, now you're also working Sunday. I think most people, if they were being honest, would say that was a deal breaker if your employer just came in and said, "Oh yeah, that 1 day a week that you always planned to have off, much less go worship." They just said that, no, now you're on call that day. And in fact, you're on call on average about 6 days a week. And, well, that sweet, sweet government job, at least in terms of how most people think of it, doesn't actually exist. There's nothing that says that any of the subs that started within the last couple of years, that their retirement is anyway going to be the same form of retirement that those who retired last year, the year before, 5 years ago, because they're just not the same companies anymore, since everyone went to this massive The post office essentially shifted from a mail-oriented mail service to we're another package service. It's expensive, yes, but it's the least expensive that exists. And to blame it all on a handful of people that are getting pensions, it seems a little misguided. They're always misdelivering my mail. I have lived here for 20 years. Do I look like John Smith? Do me a favor. If you've watched this far into the video, hit subscribe. Even better, hit subscribe, then hit that notification bell, and YouTube, the darlings that they are, will notify you when future videos drop. Misdelivered mail, you get it, I get it. It's going to happen to everyone, despite the claims of we aim for 100% delivery, blah, 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 blah. Every company makes that promise. Every company will eventually misdeliver your mail. It's a fact of life. There's too much mail, and they're given too little amount of time to sort it. But let's start at the beginning. At the post office, the mail does not come sorted. In fact, it's often just a giant mess of packages and things that to the naked eye might look as if they're in order. But once you start going through the pallets or the bins of mail, you're going to see that many of them aren't in the correct order. Flimsy water bills that will stick to everything. But you have a supervisor, an assistant postmaster, a postmaster, all tapping their watches and saying, let's get on the road, let's get on the road. Except for daily, every year at this time of year, carriers are given more and more mail. The volume of mail is increasing, and they're given less and less time to deliver that mail. And oftentimes, this time of year, you're dealing with temporary workers who are being thrown green into the mix. And again, it's a recipe for misdelivered mail. You're at the post office. When you moved into your residence, did you fill out a change of address card? And did you contact all of everybody from your dentist to the multiple companies whose magazines you subscribe to, your insurance company? Did you let everyone know, in addition to the change of address card, that you have moved so that they can update their records? Those change of address cards are not permanent. They don't last forever. I think the window is about a year or 18 months when they expire. Did the former owner, did they submit a change of address card? But let's assume all of that has been done and we're out on the road. Does your street have a street sign identifying it as Oak Street versus Oak Lane and Oak Road? You would be surprised at the number of streets in the United States that do not have any notification. If you've ever had to give directions to your home, if you keep going straight and if you get to the supermarket, you've gone too far. Drive 200 yards. When you hit the oak tree and the red barn, turn left. If you have to do that, mail carriers are doing that. And an adequate street sign, a visible street sign would do wonders. But let's say they've made it to your street. Does your house have a house number? They're stopped at a row of boxes and which house is your house? 123 Oak Street. Is there a visible number on your house? I know we're the star of our own movies, but we're not. The box itself, is the box numbered? 123 Oak Street. Oftentimes boxes are on a corner, and it's not unusual for the box to physically be on Oak Street, but the mail that it receives is actually from Mulberry Lane, which is the cross street. Does your box have your name on it? Doesn't have to be outside the box. It could be written in grease pencil inside the lid. Does it say Jones family? Does it say Jones family and Williams family because your wife was previously married? Perhaps it has your name, your last name, your wife's former name or her surname, a child's, a relative who's staying with you for the summer, and or adult children. it is very common that a home has multiple people receiving mail, all who have different last names. Are they all written inside the mailbox? Outside the mailbox would be perfect, but are they just scribbled in grease pencil on the inside? If they're not, how is the mail carrier expected to remember all of those names? They service between 500 and 1,000 boxes, 1,000 stops. And if you add a second name, a third name, a fourth name, that's 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 names that we expect them to remember. The average person only, I believe, can remember about 9 digits, and that's why our phone numbers are that long. Quick question, what is your carrier's name? If you had to pause and think about it, consider the postal carrier who's new on the route. Why should we expect them to know us and know that this box serves that house if they're not labeled? Just a thought. Oh, poor post office. It's an easy job. How hard is it? You look at the name, you look at the number, you put it in the box. I could do it with my eyes closed. A monkey could do it. How hard is it? I could do it with my eyes closed. Well, first you have to pass a test, then you have to pass a physical, then you have to provide your own vehicle. And postal routes are notoriously difficult on vehicles. Basically, you're driving you're driving very slow, idling practically for lots of the day for an 8-hour delivery day. And you're driving on the edge of the road, picking up every nail. And so there's constant maintenance that you're having to do that vehicle. You're going to be delivering between 500 and 1,000 boxes. As I mentioned, the names, it's actually many, many more 1,000 names that you have to remember. All the while, people saying things like, you've got that sweet government job, and why don't you know who I am? How hard is it? I could do it with my eyes closed. Well, in addition to a test, a physical, needing to provide your own vehicle, as I've mentioned, being a substitute for 10 years, how difficult it is to actually deliver the mail accurately, taking all of that off the table. I invite you to take your car, not deliver any mail, but on the hottest day of the year, go to Walmart, sit in the car, roll your window down, and do nothing but sit there for 6 hours. Essentially, your brain is going to cook. The same can be said on the rainiest day of the year and on the coldest day of the year. Mail carriers are out delivering your mail and actually dealing with the mail. But to those of you that can manage to sit in a parking lot and do nothing, mind you, you could run your air conditioning, but it would probably do great damage to your car if you're doing nothing but idling while running your air that whole time. But just sit in your car for 5, 6, 7 hours, and then come back and let's talk about how easy it is to deliver packages all day. Look, I'm sick of it. I'm a taxpayer. If you don't like your job, quit. If you can't do it, quit. Well, you must be a joy at a holiday party. That's all I can say. The fact is, we don't want them to quit. If all of the carriers that were having a difficult holiday season were to walk off the job suddenly, we would not get our packages possibly until spring. You want me on that wall? You need me on that wall? Yeah, we need them. We need all the carriers that can possibly work at this time of year to be working. So I hope that we're all, at least those of you that are watching this video, are being a little more patient. If we are looking for mail or a particular package at this time of year, just acknowledge least internally, that they are out there sacrificing time with their friends and family, and they're working more longer hours so that we can spend time and enjoy the holiday season with our friends and family. If you like this video, do me a favor, hit like. Even better, if you didn't like this video, also hit like. I believe it's mandatory. It's in the official rules. And then go down to the comments and tell me why. It's the only way I'm going to learn. I thank you for watching. I hope all of you, I hope 2024 turns out to be the best year for you, and it brings you everything that you hope for. I thank you again for watching. My name is Scott. We'll see you next time. Bye.